Namaste, Pranam, Gita Dhyanam. Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Grathitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitam Ritavarshinim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayinim Ambatva Manusandadhami Bhagavad Gite Bhavadveshinim. O Bhagavad Gita, with which Lord Narayana himself gave enlightenment to Partha. The ancient sage Vyasa included it in the Mahabharata. O goddess, showerer of the nectar-like knowledge of non-dualism contained in your 18 chapters, O my affectionate mother, the destroyer of rebirth, I meditate upon thee. Krishna Vandana. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kansachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Son of Vasudeva, the slayer of Kansa and Chanur, extreme delight for Mother Devaki. O Lord Krishna, the supreme teacher of the universe, my salutations to you. Srimad Bhagavad Gita and our reading from the 18th Adhyaya of Moksha Sannyasa Yoga, and slowly we are proceeding towards that wonderful state of moksha as being taught by Sri Krishna by performing the right tyaga. And which is the right tyaga? Sri Krishna has told us that not giving up the work, that is not the tyaga, but giving up the attachment to the work and giving up the thought of what I am going to get after doing this work. Giving up the desire for the fruit of work. These two tyaga, these two giving ups, these two renunciations, those are the real renunciations Sri Krishna is teaching us. And through this renunciation, we are going to get liberation. Now, Sri Krishna says it is impossible to avoid karma. Avoid doing a karma is just not possible for this indweller. The moment the soul takes up the body, the process of doing the work starts. And Sri Krishna, being such a wonderful teacher, he is explaining to us how any work gets done, whether by me or by you or by anybody, or for that matter, for any being for that matter. Any being, whether it is human being, animal person, the being from animal kingdom or plant kingdom, any being in this creation, how they perform the work. And everybody, each and every one of the beings, the embodied beings, the moment the Jivatman gets embodied, the process of work starts. And Sri Krishna says that don't think you are the doer. There are 5 agencies actually which are responsible, which are must, which are mandatory to get any work done. Without all these 5 agencies, without all these 5 factors, one can never do any work. And these 5 factors Sri Krishna told us in the previous 14th shloka that we read. The adhishtanam tatha karta karanam cha prathak vidham. Adhishtanam is this body, the seat of this indweller, the seat of this Jivatman who is dwelling inside. That body is required. The annamay kosh, that is required. So adhishtanam, tatha karta, and the doer. Now who is the doer? I is the doer. That egoism, that feeling of I am doing this. We at times we get so much elated that I am doing this. We just start broadcasting this news to our friends and our relatives. I am doing this project. I am working on this project with such a great pride that that doer, that is also a part of this 5-fold system, the 5 factors which are responsible to get any work done. Adhishtanam, karta, and then the karanam. Karanam is the organs, the senses, the sense organs, the organs of activity, the jnanendriyas and the karmendriyas. Five senses of perception and five five organs of perception and five organs of actually doing anything. The hands and feet and eyes, these all five karmendriyas and the five jnanendriyas. This is the karanam. This is what is also required to perform any work. Without the five sense organs and five organs of activities, you cannot do anything. So that is the third element of these five mandatory factors for performing any work. Adhishthanam tatha karta karanam cha pruthakvidam. So these are all the different kind of various factors. These are required. Now these are three, which are the remaining two. So Sri Krishna says, vividhascha pruthak cheshta. Within a work, all those small activities that are being performed, they also contribute as one factor for getting any work done. Now, supposing we spoke about a few examples in our previous reading on this. Now, supposing a lady says that I am cooking vegetable. I am preparing, say, aloo matar sabji. Now, work-wise, it is just making a curry of potato and green peas. But is it just one operation? No. For that, so many little operations are required for that final act of preparing a potato and green peas curry is done. We have to buy potatoes, we have to buy peas, we have to peel the green peas if we are using those the pods. We have to take the seeds out, the peas out. Then we have to wash potatoes, we have to wash those green peas. Then we have to cut them properly. All these things. Then we have to put a pan on the stove. We have to light the stove. You have to light the stove, then put the pan, put little oil, put all these masalas and then the cut potatoes and peas, and then prepare the curry out of it. So just making simple curry does not mean it is one activity. There are vividhascha pruthak cheshta. There are so many small efforts which contribute in getting this one work done. Vividhascha pruthak cheshta. So that is the fourth element. All those small unit operations. And then finally Sri Krishna says, Daivam chaiva cha eva atra panchakam. That Daivam, the presiding deity. And who is the presiding deity? The one indweller over here. That is the presiding deity. Whatever we do, that presiding deity is watching it. That presiding deity is witnessing it. And unless and until that presiding deity, that Jivatman, is involved in the work cannot be done. So these five factors are absolutely essential for doing any work. And then you say, I have done the work. So many things are required for that work to be done. How can you claim that I am doing it? You have no right to claim so. The work gets done by so many factors, and each and every one of these five is absolutely critical, is absolutely mandatory, is absolutely necessary for getting this work done. So that was the 14th shlok that we read. Today we will take up the 15th shlok. Again, how the karma is being done in relation to these five essential factors. Sri Krishna says, śharīra-vāṅ-manobhir yat karma prārabhate naraḥ nyāyyaṁ vā viparītaṁ vā pañchaite tasya hetavaḥ. Sri Krishna says, with these five necessary factors in getting the work done, whatever action a man performs, yat karma prārabhate naraḥ, yat karma, whichever work a person starts performing, whichever work a person starts doing, using what? Using sharira, vak, mana. Now, Sri Krishna has already told in the previous shloka that the adhishthanam is required, is one of the necessary factors of getting that work, any work done. Now, apart from Sharira, now Sharira, Adhishthanam, Sri Krishna has used as a singular term with the seat of the Lord. But this Adhishthanam again has sub-factors. Now, which are those sub-factors of this Adhishthanam? The sub-factors, like the Vividha Prathak Cheshta, Sri Krishna told about, each activity is comprised of small tasks, and then comes the final task. Likewise, even this Adhishthanam, the seat of the Lord, the seat of the Jivatman, also has some factors involved to work this body work, involved in making this body work. Now, which are those factors? Sharira, Vak, and Mana. That is what Sri Krishna says here. That first of all, just imagine whenever we start any work, how we start getting involved doing any work. First of all, a thought comes. The Vak, the thought comes to us. That in the Vak means actually literally means speech, but here we can consider it as a thought. We think of doing something, and that is what the activity of Vak does. It forms those words. Vak is a speech. So those thoughts are formed into words. I have to do this thing. That thought arises. Then what happens? Once that thought arises in our mind that I have to get this thing done, the mind, the mana, grasps that thought. Man grasps that thought, realizing that, oh, this fellow wants to do this work. And then the mind directs the body, the mind directs the organs, the mind directs the sense organs and the organs of activity. The mind directs the pañchaite, the indriyas, those 10 indriyas, the 5 jnanendriya, the 5 senses of perception, and the related sense organs, and the 5 karmendriyas, the 5 organs of action. So likewise, this body, which is comprised of the physical body, the organs, the mind, and the thought that gets generated before doing any work. The mind has to grasp that thought and hand it over to the body. Okay, this is to be done now. And that is how all the works start, we start working on all the works that we do. So Sri Krishna says, śharīra-vāṅ-manobhir yat karma prārabhate naraḥ. Nyāyyaṁ va viparītaṁ. Now Sri Krishna says, the person may start the work which is right, which is wrong. The person may start the work which is righteous, which is evil. Nyāyyaṁ va viparītaṁ. Nyāyyaṁ means which is abiding to the scriptures, but abiding to the moral code of conduct, or viparītaṁ, or otherwise. The work which is pure, which is holy, which is good, or otherwise, whichever work the person starts performing using the body, mind, and speech, the body, mind, and thought. Nyāyyaṁ va viparītaṁ va pañchaite tasya hetavaḥ. Using these 5 causes, which are the ultimate essential requirements for performing any work. So, the 5 causes that Sri Krishna has enlisted in the 14th shloka. Apart from that, whatever the bodily factors are there, using those factors, the body, the mind, and the thought, the organs, the mind, and the thought, using those organs, whichever work a person starts, whether holy or unholy, whether good or bad, whether moral or immoral, whichever work the person starts, using these 5 essential elements. So Sri Krishna said, this is how a work gets done. My boy, whatever action a man performs with his body, mind, or speech, whether right or wrong, whether that action is right or wrong, these five, the body, then the ownership, the doer, I am the doer, the karta, then karanam, the various organs, then the various individual small tasks, the unit operations as we call it in chemical engineering, the unit operations, and the presiding deity and that Jivatman. With these are the 5 causes which are responsible for getting a work done, whether a holy or unholy, whether good or bad, whether moral or immoral, whether ethical or unethical, whether righteous or unrighteous. Whichever work a person starts using his body, mind, and thought. These are the 5 causes which result in getting work done. Now, a typical example that is given for this kind of the situation is typically like a motor car. Motor car has got hundreds of parts attached to it. There are hundreds of nuts and bolts. Then you have got the chassis, then you have got the tires, then you have got those, first of all, before tires there are those tire rings, then you have the tube and tire. Of course, nowadays you get tubeless tires. Then you have got that steering rod, the steering wheel attached to it, and all those things. But there is a driver. The driver who, now this motor car, again, this motor car can be used for so many uses. For good uses, for bad uses, for ethical uses, for unethical uses, for moral, for immorality, for righteous purposes, for unrighteous purposes. The same motor car. Now, is it the prerogative of the motor car for which it is to be used? No. It will be used the way the person wants to use it. And therefore, Sri Krishna says that nyāyyaṁ va viparītaṁ va. Whether that person is engaged in doing a good activity or otherwise. Whether a person is engaged in doing a rightful activity or otherwise. Under the control, with the help of these 5 causes and using the body, mind, and thought. This is how every work gets done. Now, all the activities carried on by man are brought under the triple heading of thought, word, and deed. First comes the thought. Then we frame that thought into the words, into that speech. And then the mind grasps that thought, the words, and directs the body. The subtlest of the karma takes place in mind. Before actually the body starts working, the mind has started working on that karma in the subtle form. Not actually, no one can see what mind is planning to do. That is just a planning process. That is the subtle part. And then finally, when the mind hands over that plan of action to the body, then one starts seeing the actual work being done. Not a moment passes without mind doing karma of one kind or another. The gross manifestations of it are the words and deeds. And that is how once the mind directs the body, mind grasps the thought, then plans. Yes, this is how I'm going to do it. This is how I'm going to fit. This is how I'm going to make it. Once the actual plan of action is derived in the mind, though those words are formed, how I'm going to do it, then the mind hands over that plan of action to the body, and whatever has been done in the subtle form in the mind, the body starts putting it into the gross form. The body starts putting it into action, and then we see that, oh yes, the work is getting done. So this is actually how Sri Krishna has analyzed Even smallest of the work that we do, it undergoes the same process. Whether it is the smallest of the work that we do, like maybe cleaning a utensil, hmm, cleaning our plates, whether it is that kind of simple operation or a mightiest operation of building a rocket or whatever, just a huge thing. Sri Krishna says all the works that are being done, they have necessarily to use these five factors. These five factors are necessarily involved. And then, with the help of these triad, what is this triad? The body, thought, and mind. With this triad, then really the work starts getting happening. This is what. Now, whether that work is, again, Sri Krishna says, all the works, whether right, whether wrong, whether good, whether bad, whether holy, whether unholy, whether pure, whether impure, all the works, they have to undergo this process of having the five factors and the triad of the agencies of body, thought, and mind. So that was the beautiful teaching of Sri Krishna in the 15th shloka that we read today. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Sri Krishna Arpanamastu. Jai Sri Ramakrishna. Jai Thakur. Jai Ma. Jai Swamiji.